So in this video we are going to study about the estimation of project, that is called the project estimation. What is the meaning of a project estimation? Project estimation uh, project estimation is the process of finding an estimate or approximation which is actually a value which is used for some purpose. We can perform the project estimation even if the input data is incomplete, uncertain or unstable. So what is the meaning of project estimation? That means it is the process of estimating or it is the process of finding or finding the estimate or approximation. So the result of the project estimation will give you a value, and we can use this value for different purpose. And one advantage of the project estimation is that we can perform this estimation even though the input data is incomplete, uncertain or unstable. But in some cases, based on the project estimation method, we will get the result. Some of the estimation techniques will give you somewhat accurate result, but some will give you a rough idea about the estimation. And one advantage of doing the project estimation by the manager is that the managers can control the project in an efficient and effective manner. That is, even if they can calculate the effort required, or if they can calculate a rough estimate of the cost required to complete the project, or the resources which are needed to complete the project. So a rough idea in advance will help them to manage all the activities, that is to manage the project or control the project in an effective and efficient manner. Normally, an estimation includes the following things, that is, we have to do the estimation of, so the estimation is mainly we are doing size estimation, then time or effort estimation, time estimation and cost estimation. So these are the most popular types of estimation that are done during project estimation. That are size estimation, that is the size of the project, then time estimation, that is the time required to complete the project, cost estimation, that is the cost associated with certain things to create the project, and the effort estimation, that is how many persons are needed, how much amount of effort is needed to complete the project. So if you are studying in detail about the size estimation, mainly there are two methods are there for calculating and for estimating the size of a project. The first one is in kilo lines of code. KLOC means kilo lines of code. 1 kilo is 1024 lines. So how many lines of code is there in your software? So that is one of the method. The second method is using function points. Okay, so it is also another method which can be used to calculate the size of the project or size of the software. But the drawback of this method is that, or the lines of drawback, we cannot say it as a drawback, but there is a main point about this technique. That is, lines of code actually depends on the programming practice. Suppose that if a software engineer or the developer or the coder, whoever may be writing the code is an experienced one, he can do the software with minimum number of codes. But for an inexperienced person, maybe the number of lines will be increased, but the output will be same. But based on their experience or based on their programming style, the number of lines of code will vary. And in the same manner, the function points also, if you are calculating the method using the functions, or if you are going to calculate the size of the software using function points, it also varies according to the user of the software requirement. So this is the point about the size estimation. So normally the size is estimated using two methods. Either you can use the kilo lines of code, or you can use the number of function points in the software. Next one is the estimation of effort. That is what is the meaning of effort estimation. Normally effort is estimated by the manager in terms of the personnel requirement and manpower requirement to produce the software. That means how many persons are required, or how many persons and how many hours. For example, 12 persons in 50 hours, or 12 persons in 100 hours are needed to produce the software. So like that we will calculate, or we will estimate. That is the meaning of effort estimation. So the effort estimation, in order to calculate the effort, the size of the software should be known. Then only the effort can be calculated. And we can calculate the effort estimation using the manager's experience, organization's historical data, and also from the software size. So by using all these points, we can convert these factors to calculate the effort. So there are certain standard formulas are there for calculating the effort, and these formulas include all these factors. Next one is about the time estimation. Time estimation means, so far we calculated the size, estimated the size, we estimated the effort. So if you know these 2 points, we can calculate or we can estimate the time which is required to produce the software. And normally the effort, which we can divide the effort which are needed to produce the software into different components. That is we can divide the effort. The entire effort can be divided into the requirement specification as well as the interdependency of various activities or various components. We know that if you want to create a software, if the software is very big, it cannot be performed by a single person. So in that case, we will divide the task into different modules. So normally the effort is also calculated for each and every module, whose combination, when we add all this effort of all the modules, we can calculate the effort of the entire software. So this is called work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure means the entire work is, we will break it into different sub-modules, and we will calculate all this estimation related to each of these modules. And normally in this method, now what we will do is we will specify the day-to-day activities or monthly calendar month activities, etc. For example, today you have to do this thing, or tomorrow you have to do this thing, like that, or 1 month is given to complete the design. So these are the different ways in which we will perform this, we will explain this work breakdown structure, we will give you the details. And as I said, the entire the sum of all this task, that is the hours, or all these details about all the time required to calculate to do each and every module will be combined together to calculate the time required to complete the final project. Next one is about the cost estimation, which is very difficult because here we will consider many factors, and it also depends on previous ones. Normally the cost related, that is the cost estimation, will consider the following factors like the size of the software, the quality of the software, the hardware is required to do the software, to complete the software, if any additional tools of softwares or any license are needed to complete the project, or how many skilled persons are needed for completing the project, and what are the skills, specific skills for each task, which all skills are needed. Then if any travel is needed to travel is involved in order to do the project, its cost. Then if any communication is needed, maybe network or like that, for the cost of communication, or the cost which is needed to give the training and support. We know that whenever a project starts, normally training is given to the corresponding persons to do the project. So the cost of all these factors will be considered in cost estimation. So as I said, these are the main 4 types of estimation: software size, effort, time estimation, and cost estimation. Next is, what is the meaning of a metric for software project size estimation? So I already said that normally the size is specified as lines of code and function points. Lines of code means how many lines of codes are there in the software product. Function point is how many function points in the software product. Okay, so that is the meaning of the metric, which is widely used to estimate the size of a project. That is, the project size is based on these 2 factors. or these two methods can be calculated from these two methods. So these are some important questions that can come from this area. First one, write down the activities of project planning, then important responsibilities of software project manager. It's not there. Then the scope, what is scope management, what is the scope of the project, metrics for that we already discussed, the project software size estimation, etc. Now we want to study about the next topic, that is called project estimation technique. So if you want to estimate, so far we discussed about the project estimation. So here we are going to study the way, the different methods, different techniques that are used to estimate the project, like the time, the cost, etc. And it includes various parameters. That are project size of the project, the effort required, the duration, that is the time of the project, the cost of the project. So based on these factors, based on these parameters, we can do the estimation. And the main advantage of this doing estimation in advance is that we can calculate the rough cost. We can call the rough cost in order to develop the software to the customer. And we can also plan how many resources may be needed, how can you schedule, we can plan the schedule. So these are the main advantages of doing the estimation. And there are mainly three broad categories of estimation techniques are there. The first one is called empirical estimation technique, the second one is called heuristic technique, and third one is called analytic estimation techniques. These are the three basic categories of estimation techniques. Here we have to study the empirical estimation technique. So here we have to study only one method, that is the empirical estimation technique, which is actually an estimation technique which can be used to find out, to estimate the cost, time, then effort and size. And it is actually based on the educated guess of the parameters. So we consider the different parameters based on which the estimation will be carried out. So based on that, we will make a guess of on that of the parameters. And this technique mainly use the prior experience in with similar product. That is, suppose it is based on certain factors. This estimation is carried out based on the experience of the developer, then common sense, the activities, which all activities are involved in the estimation over the years. That is mainly the experience. Based on the experience, actually this estimation is carried out. And there are two types of popular empirical estimation techniques are there. The first one is called expert judgment technique, and next one is called Delphi cost estimation. So if we are explaining the expert judgment technique, which is the most widely used estimation technique. So as the name says, it is actually done by the expert. This judgment is done by the expert. Okay, so expert will make a guess, educated guess, that is based on their experience. They will make a guess of the size of about the problem size. So that means what will be the size of the problem. Based on the experience, they will calculate and analyze the problem size, and they will try to find out the estimate. They will try to create an estimated cost of different components, which we are calling it as modules or a subsystem. So as I said, every project is divided into different components. The experts will try to find out a rough cost, that is estimated cost. What will be the cost for doing this module? What will be the cost of doing this module? So like that, they will try to make an estimation of each and every module, and finally they will combine together. That is this cost of each and every module, which are estimated by the experts, will be combined together to arrive at the overall estimate. And one drawback of there are some drawbacks are there for this expert judgment technique. The first one is that it is subjected to human errors. Actually, this judgment is done by a single expert. It is subject to human errors. That is, it is actually individual bias. It is based on their experience, their expertise, and they may be concentrating on only some aspect. So it is a drawback of this method. And one more drawback is that suppose if a particular person that we took as an expert may not be expert in some other areas, he may not be an expert in all the aspects of the project. Suppose that he is a expert in the only the in the networking side. He may not have much experience in the database side. So like that, that will make a problem. That is, we cannot make a correct judgment. So expert judgment method has these drawbacks. The next one is that suppose that instead of giving a single expert judgment, we can make a group of experts. So its advantage is that we can minimize the, as I said, the drawbacks of the previous problem can be solved, because in the previous problem it is biased. That is, as I said, it depends on the experience or expertise of that particular person. And he may not be expert in all the aspects of the project, so that will influence, or that will make that may make an error while doing all the estimation. But here we are creating a group of experts, so it is not depends on a particular person, it depends on the different persons. So that may minimize these errors. So that is the main advantage of this one. It may not be personal bias, or it may not be based on the each of the person will be expert in different areas. So their all their estimates will provide. It will give you a rough estimate, or they will help to estimate or make estimation of the project. But there are also some problems are there. That is, some kind of bias will be there, because if we are considering a group, there will be some kind of political considerations will be there. Suppose the group may be dominated by any senior members, so like that it may also produce some kind of errors, human errors may be possible. So this is the second method, that is called the Delphi-Coase method, which will overcome the drawbacks of the expert judgment approach. So here we will create a team which consists of a group of experts and a coordinator. And the coordinator who is coordinating the activities will provide each and every estimator one copy of the SRS. That is the requirements. SRS means software requirement specification. So this document will be given and a form for cost. That is, they will give you a form to each and every experts. Who is doing this? This is done by the coordinator. So the coordinator will provide two things to each and every estimator. The first one is the copy of SRS document, and the second one is a form will also be provided in which each different forms of cost they can write different estimation of cost, which is done by each and every expert. And each of the estimator will do the estimation anonymously. That is, they will not write their names or anything. It will be completely independent. Each of the estimator will carry out the estimation and they will submit to the coordinator. The main advantage is that, main idea is that whenever a person is performing the estimation, they will not mention any unusual characteristic of the product which will influence his estimation. That is, he may be concentrating on only some aspect, and based on that he may be doing the estimation. So here, whenever an estimator will perform the estimation, that is, individual estimation is done by the estimator, he will mention some unusual characteristic based on which has influenced his estimation. So any unusual characteristics are there for the product, he will just make a note on his estimation. And what the coordinator will do is they will get all these responses from individual experts, and after certain time he will distribute the summary of responses to all the estimator, which will include any unusual rational notes about of their estimators. So the final one, that is the summary of summary which he will make a summary based on the estimation done by individual expert, and the summary will be given to each and every estimers who did the estimation, and based on this summary they will again re-estimate the cost. So in the same manner this process will be iterated for several rounds. Okay. But one important point is that there will not be any discussion between different estimators during the entire estimation process. They will do their own work and they will give to the coordinator. The coordinator will coordinate all the activities, and the summary is given back to individual estimators. They will again make the judgment. So this process will be continued for several rounds. So the main idea is given here. The idea behind this discussion. If any discussion is allowed, what is the drawback? Something may influence them. So that is why no discussion is made between the estimators. And after completion, after passing through several rounds, the coordinator will take the responsibility of compiling the results and prepare the final estimate. So this process, that is the estimation process, will carry out for several rounds, and after that the final one will be coordinated by the coordinator. And that is the meaning of the Delphi estimate.